Welcome to CanFree Lifestyle. This is William Kemeni. We are here today to talk about Happisoft. Happisoft is a product of Patrick Happi, who's here, and he's going to tell us a little bit about himself, his product, and how he got motivated to do and to get where he's at today for the community he works hard for. Welcome to CanFree Lifestyle, Patrick. How are you doing today?
I'm good, man. Thanks for inviting me on your channel. It's a pleasure to be here to talk a little bit about myself, my realization so far, and just share my experience with others. Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome, no problem. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh yeah, who's Patrick? Patrick is actually a young Cameroonian. I've immigrated to Canada since 2017, so it's almost 3 years now that I'm in Canada. Talking about my professional background and educational at the same time, I actually graduated in 2010 from the University of Yaoundé back in Cameroon, where I actually got my professional bachelor's degree in software engineering. I was lucky enough to just get a job directly after that. So I occupy two positions before coming to Canada in two companies back in Cameroon. That was Phoenix Informatique, where I was actually a technical director. That was my first job. And I was then upon calling the University of Bamenda, who was a newborn baby. You know, it was a new state university in the country. So I was actually called upon to join the computer department to actually get the technology side of the university up and running, right? So since 2017, I'm in Canada. I'm the CEO of a company called Happisoft that I've been running since then. And yeah, globally, I think that's who Patrick is, and yeah, I am today.
Okay, thank you for that introduction. It feels like it was an introduction of a pioneer, someone who's been working for 40 years or 50 years. I mean, and I'm glad that you're able to share that with us so easily. How did you get the concept of building your own company? Because you talked about Happisoft. Tell us about the beginning of Happisoft and what motivated you to create it.
So back in Cameroon, the possibility for an individual to actually get a startup up and actually running is kind of difficult. Like you need a lot of financial resources to actually get your business up and running, right? Especially in the IT field, that's not yet that developed back in Cameroon. You have difficulty to make people understand the need of a technology you're trying to bring in to facilitate stuff, right? Everybody is not receptive that much to technology, so it was a little bit difficult. So just to say that I had the idea to actually get my own company up since back then when I started in Cameroon. So for me, coming to Canada actually gave me like the opportunity to make my dream come true. Canada, as we know, is actually a country where you can actually dream, right? Coming here, I saw the opportunities and the facilities that the government, provide to young, people that want to actually start their businesses, And I was really interested. I was like, okay, this is definitely what I wanted. Like everything was so easy to get up and rolling, and I said, this is the time. I just actually did it. Like there are many other factors that actually like push me up to that, but I would say like the facility of actually establishing your business in Canada, that was actually one of the main reasons. I actually got my business up and running.
I'm actually glad that you mentioned it because you are in an environment where you are able to feel free to express yourself, right? To express your ideas. And not only that, you're in a world, in a field of IT, which is a field that requires a certain level of knowledge and technology, and you're in this type of environment as well.
I'm not actually 100% from those who think success comes from luck, right? First of all, I don't consider myself successful. Success is just a human definition. Success is whatever you define for yourself. I can be successful. I can decide that, okay, I'm successful as soon as I'm able to buy my own car. I'm successful as soon as I'm, like, those are just like, personal project that you give to yourself that can define your success, right? You always need to go somewhere, right? But for sure, compared to maybe where some others are, or compared to the ideal that people have about like a successful person, they can consider you're successful, right? So maybe someone else telling me I'm successful, probably, but for myself, I don't think I'm. But I consider myself as the one that actually looks for what he wants. Like, you know, I actually know where to actually put my needle to produce something. You need to be actually aware of where your strength and where your weakness, and you play on your strength.
Exactly. Yes.
Make something out of it. Exactly. That's
so you have to know yourself.
Very important.
And yeah, I cannot stress this enough. That's really good. You need to know yourself. And where you are now, as an engineer, you work here in Canada. Was that your passion to become a self-employed software engineer?
Being a software engineer is something I always wanted. So since I was a kid, I was just so attracted and so passionate about, you know, IT, whatever turns around technology. Since I was, you know, I think it's something I was born with. You know, I always had like, you know, video games. I had like, you know, cell phone, always like trying to hack stuff around. You know, I think that's something I've always grown up with, right? So yeah, I always wanted to actually, you know, do engineering in general, like, you know, but software engineering probably came a little bit later, because for me it was just technology in the beginning, right?
Okay.
But software engineering came a little bit, like I would say, like my first year university, right? I actually wanted to do software engineering because I had the choice between software, hardware engineering, or whatever, right? You know, when you realize that software is actually what's behind every single piece of technology, that's where you want to be.
That's where you want to be, yeah.
Exactly. So that's what pushed me up actually to go towards software engineering.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And now today you're working in your field, so you feel you're in your zone, I would say.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Just touch up a bit on what you do. So you set up a company. And just to the average Joe, you know, I'm not a software engineer. I don't even know what you do on a daily. But to break it down to someone, let's say, you know, that needs services from Happisoft, what does that translate to? What can you do to someone who starts up a business, or who needs solutions for their business?
Basically, as a startup, right? I think every startup actually needs visibility. I think that's actually the main, like, the main issue every startup has. Like, I just want to have more clients. I just want more people to know what I'm doing, you know, whatever, right? So in that sense, right, we offer a lot of, you know, solution when it comes to, like, you know, visibility, probably like, you know, website design, you know, we have like SEOs, you know, we have like we have more like interactive integration upon like social medias, visibility, you know. We have a lot of experts, you know, that are actually good in the field, that actually we, like, you know, configure this in such a way that you reach the right audience, right? Depending on the business you have, like, you have a specific audience you're targeting, so there's a specific way to reach those audience. Like, they are just people that just go to their field, right? Like, they're just good with that. I won't say that's me happy doing it. I'm just a CEO of a company, so I have talented people that actually, you know, very like acquainted in those different domains that will actually help your business reach that, you know, that level. So yeah, we offer a broad wide of service to start up, to actually get up and rolling at really reasonable prices, for sure.
Okay. So and so you offer those services in the country you live in, or is it, because it's IT, I believe you can travel, you can cross borders with that service?
Exactly. IT is just like a worldwide stuff, right? It's not like I'm having a restaurant that only local, you know, people come and eat in it. Like, for sure, I have customers all around the world, USA, back in Africa, Europe, you know, like almost everywhere. Yeah.
And you can work from home.
Exactly. That's a nice part of it, right? You're your own boss, you know, you can just like sit home and do your own thing at your own time, you know. But at the same time, you need to understand that being the owner of a business requires a lot of self-discipline, right? It's not just because you're your own boss that you can wake up at 9 a.m., just take your coffee, take your time, you're like, whatever, you know. You need to have some self-discipline just to get the business moving. That's really important in every business you want to launch. Give yourself some self-discipline, really important.
Yeah, I like the fact that your passion, you carry on doing your passion, living off of your passion. using the skills that you have and something that you've lived from since you were younger, to inspire other people there. And if you'd like to know more about Happisoft and the services that Happisoft provides, please go to www.happisoft.ca, and that's happy with I, not Y. For a novice like me, right? You had a degree to do what you're doing now and to succeed in your daily tasks. But do you necessarily have to go to school and get a degree to work in that field?
Oh, okay. Sincerely speaking, I will say no. So to have experienced a little bit of the society, how it's maybe like, being, controlled in Europe compared to America, I would say I really like the standard of America, right? If you have ever been in Europe, you understand that your diploma counts a lot. If you want to work in the big companies, you need to have big diplomas, right? But sincerely speaking, who said having a big diploma makes you the smartest guy? That's not true at all. I think we all agree on that fact that the smartest people are not the one having the greatest GPAs or whatever, right? They're just the people that have the idea, have the mindset to like accomplish something that they know is useful, right? Yes. I think that's the whole engineering mindset. I don't think it has anything to do with your diplomas or whatever, right? Yeah. It has to do with your self-motivation, your ideas, the way you structure them, the way you actually think of resolving an issue with what you know, right? I wouldn't say to be a software engineer today, probably as, for a diploma, say for someone to call you a software engineer, for sure, you will need like a professional degree, for sure. Yeah, that's what you need, right? But sincerely, to have your own company, to be a startup, like we have a lot, I know a lot of great software engineers that don't have diplomas, right? Some of them even just have like, I don't know, like secondary school, or they just have like a first university degree, and they are so smart, right? It's just all about how you actually use what you know, and there are just smart people out there that don't have diplomas, right? So that's a good thing in America. It's more like, they know how. What do you know? What do you know?
They focus more on your experience.
Exactly.
So now we know a little bit more about you, what you do. Now, what's your connection to community? Because I know you through the Cameroonian community as the All-in-One Africa guy. And I remember when you started, building your website, the application, now there's an app that will tell us where we'll find services, African services. So I'm really happy that we met, and I'm just going to let you tell us a little bit more, share your experience on how you started, from you just working to you thinking, okay, we need to have a presentation in Canada.
Yeah, thank you. That's actually a great question. So All-in-One Africa, just so you know, is actually one of the first baby project of Happisoft as a company, right? Now coming back to All-in-One Africa as a project itself, let me just give a little bit history of what happened, right? So as I said, I moved to Canada since 2017, right? And luckily for me, after a month, I was able to land a job, right? And I had to move to Markham, that's in GTA, right? So Markham is not known being like an Afro neighborhood, right? You know what I mean? So Markham is definitely not the place you would have like someone from your community you find around. Like it's mostly like Asians that live in Markham, Indians, So I was kind of like lost because I actually knew almost nobody in Canada. I just knew like a friend that was like far away in Burlington, if you know where that is. So I was actually in Markham all alone, just lost. I was like, okay, I need to know where I can actually buy some African food. I actually need to meet some Africans and that was not just the right place. Just for the fun part of it, one day I was in the office working with my colleague, my Asian colleague. I wanted to actually get my hair cut, right? I was actually searching. I opened Google. I was searching because, Black people will have a special type of hair that not any blade can cut, right? So I was actually looking. I couldn't find any African barber, on Google. I was searching, then I just asked my friend, where can I get my hair cut, whatever. He was like, he just directed me to a place. And guess what? I went there. The guy tortured my hair. I was feeling pain and my hairs were like just still long, like nothing was done the way I wanted. I was like, oh my God, this is so bad. I think that's where my engineering part was like there's something you can do here, okay? Like this is something that needs to be resolved for sure. That's how every engineer thinks. You see a problem, you look at where you can resolve the problem. I was like, okay, my job here will be actually to hunt down this African business, because I'm sure they are around, they are out there, but I just can't find them on Google, right?
Yeah.
That's why I actually started hunting some of them down. Luckily for me, I met William. William is actually this connection guy, you know. He was really helpful in the project, because he has like this lot of connection, you know, for African business owners, or you know, everything that's related to African, you know, businesses. That's been really like I would say an enlightenment. An enlightenment, exactly. He's really good at convincing and talking to people. That was like an enlightenment. I was like, oh, this is the right guy to who I have to channel all the stuff and, you know, get to meet the people I want to meet, right? So yeah, that's how I started getting like filling up my database, like meeting all these African businesses that I never knew they were existing. I said, I'll create a Google map of Africa out here. That's my goal, you know. We have a lot of great African business owners. They are out there having businesses running up and down, like nobody knows they're existing, right? So that was the main motivation of me building up this application, just to have those map, like put on the map for people to know they are here, you know.
Sure. The way that you added technology to marketing is genius, because it's a touch-up that isn't developed enough. We need more engineers, as I would say.
For sure.
Right?
I definitely agree.
We need much more engineers. So if it's your field, your community needs you. So Patrick, you don't just work for free. You don't just do Google of Africa and just hangs on behind, you know? How do you even help the community and also get paid from the community?
I guess when you're talking about payment, it's financial payment, like cash payment, right? I think as every startup, finance is something that's not in front. The business is in front, like for sure. Trust me, as soon as you prove out there that you can and you do it, people are gonna come to you. The money gonna come, like the money gonna follow. That's a mistake everybody does. Like when you want to start a business, for instance, you're starting up a restaurant. Don't expect to make some money out of it for the next maybe 2 years. Trust me. It's something you'll be bleeding. You'll be like investing, you know. But success comes with, you know, endurance. You need to be there. You need to be out there on the market. Don't leave the fight. You know what I mean? You need to keep it up, right? So you asked me how I've been paid today. I would just say, whatever I'm receiving today from, you know, business that come to like that require my services, you know, individuals that need websites or whatever. I just get paid because I already have like a portfolio, right? There's so much that I've already accomplished till now, like working with big, small, medium-sized companies. Those stuff are out there. They're actually my source of revenue. They're actually doing my advertisement for me. I don't do advertisement anymore. Like those stuff are actually more useful than whatever you can think, right? So when you just want to start something, just start it. Like, don't care about the money. Just try to prove to people that you can do it and that you're good at doing it, right?
Yeah, give us an example. Give us an example of how you helped out someone and that generated revenue.
Oh, sure. I'll take an example of my community, right? I'm actually from a specific tribe in Cameroon. That's one of the biggest. That's Bamileke tribe. We actually have an association of Cameroonian Bamilekes in Canada. That's a really huge one, right?
Yeah.
So the community was existing when I came here, right? I just started doing my stuff on the left and the right, just doing my website, just getting to some businesses, getting my corporation up and running. And they got interested in what I'm doing, and they're like, oh, you know, it's one of our sons. He's like, you know, he's from our tribe. You know, let's just, you know, get to him and see what he can do to help us, right? Yeah. So that's how the association contacted me. They first of all make me a part of the bureau, so I'm actually the IT consultant of the association. At the same time, they actually wanted my service to make the association more visible, right? And today they have a website, a whole website up and running where member can actually like register for their membership online directly on the website with a lot of services and everything. They have just gained a lot of visibility in these last 2 years and a lot of new members just because of the visibility that was given to it, right? That's just a way to show you how important is like visibility and, you know, like proper solution, technological solution can actually enhance, you know, your business, you know, revenue.
Okay. And I would like to talk about another topic. So we talk about Happisoft. Maybe for the viewers, we don't get exactly what Happisoft represents to you, and when you created that company, what is the benefit of having or incorporating your company?
Okay. So Happisoft is a full IT engineering solution and consultancy company, right? We offer different type of services, right? Web designing, web app development, mobile app development, like a range of services turning around IT solutions. Now, talking of the employees, I'll say for now we have 2 full-time employees. That's myself and, you know, someone in charge of finance, day-to-day running of the company. But most of the time we work with you know, contractors, like part-time workers, right? Because Happisoft is more like we're working more on projects, right? So whenever we have a project, we have specific people we work with, right? So exactly. So basically, that Happisoft is more like this solution, IT solution company as a whole, right? Now maybe going on the other part, talking about the corporation itself, you know, how it's been managed financially, because I guess people will be thinking that, okay, how costly is it to actually be self-employed, just have its own company? Is it like, is it in my benefit? Do I spend more? Like, how financially is it managed, right? I will actually say it all depends, right? It all depends on the field you are, on how you actually want to get your corporation running. But trust me, I think if you actually want to be a self-employed, you have to be ready for taking the risk to do that. It's kind of a risk. Why am I talking about risk here? It's risk because you don't have job security. That's the only risk you have being self-employed, right? Whatever happened, you're sick today, whatever happened, or, you know, you're not able to continue what you're doing, nobody's going to pay you. Like, you know, there's not going to be money coming and you're not working, right? So that's the only disadvantage of actually being, you know, self-employed or just be a CEO or a business owner. But on the other side, the most difficult to get to where you have customers all the time. You're sure that whatever the case, you know, like even if you're not around, people keep your, you know, stuff working. You know, that's a good part. But the most important part, when we're talking about the financial part of it, seriously, being self-employed can make you save a lot on taxes, right? We know how much is it, like how much is so costly to have, like, you know, paying taxes, you know, in this country. The good thing with corporation is that you can have a lot of different stuff you use daily right up from your taxes, right? For instance, I'm using internet to do what I'm doing, right? Internet is something I pay for to work as a corporation, right? I write off my internet bills from my taxes. I put gas in my car when I want to meet customers. I write it off of my taxes. Sometimes I meet some business partners. We go out to restaurants just to, like, for business purposes. You write it off of your taxes. So many stuff you actually relate to your business can actually be write off from your taxes. That's a really good thing. So I will say by the end of the year, right, how much you're going to pay for the tax is actually high compared to, you know, a normal guy. But the thing is, you have to take the ratio of how much you had as the income and how much you're paying out for taxes.
Give us an example: employee, and self-employed.
Okay, I'll just take a basic example that I just take to explain this. So let's say I'm actually a professional data scientist, right? I'm actually called by a company to actually do a part-time work as a contractor there, right? And they have a full-time professional data scientist. The full-time professional data scientist will maybe paid $40 an hour, right? Me as a contractor, I can't be paid on the same scale. I'll be paid like, let's say $60-70 an hour, right? So let's say I only had that contract for that whole year, right? I'll have the $70 an hour, he'll have the 40. At the end of the year, he'll pay his taxes, let's say 3,000. I don't know how much. I'm not good at calculating that. But me as a corporation, for sure, I'll have to pay my company taxes and my personal taxes. For sure, it will be above 3,000. It can be like 4,000 or whatever. But taking the ratio of what you had as income, what you made as profit, compared to what you're actually putting out there for taxes, the ratio is far more better compared to be, 9-to-5 worker, as they call it, right? Okay. So yeah, there's surely a need when it comes to like saving more money, for sure. Like that is not profitable to be self-employed, definitely.
We are in quarantine, stuck at home. You can work from home, I can work from home, but a lot of people out there were not able to work and lost their jobs, unfortunately. You know what, our thoughts go towards you, and always think that there's a stay positive, because this situation will end eventually, and we'll get back to normal. How does it, as a self-employed person, luckily you can work, not luckily, but I mean fortunate for your profession, you can work from home. How does that affect your company?
Oh, you mean the COVID-19, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think globally COVID-19 is actually affecting a lot of companies out there, right? But the good thing, I would say, probably for me, I'm probably lucky in this sense now. I'm doing in the field where physical contact is really not needed. I really just need to get to my clients virtually, do the stuff, website, all of those, like everything I'm doing is just virtual, compared to a business owner that has a restaurant that he's paying the rent, like COVID, supposed to be home, now it's closed, it's making no money, right? The impact is maybe not that high compared to other companies, but for sure, businesses are slowing down, in terms of like, projects or whatever. Like for sure, it's been slowing down on my side as well. I'm not having the same rate of requests as before, but you need to stay optimistic, right? You need to like think ahead of, ahead of the crisis or whatever, right? So think of what will happen after the crisis. Seriously, with this confinement, I don't know till when this will go, like maybe till end of the year, till June. I don't know how long this will take, but seriously, you need to get out of this with something more. If you get out of COVID-19 as you went in, seriously, that's a waste of time. You have just been wasting a lot of time. This is the time you have nothing to do. You have a lot of stuff you can read online. You can take a lot of courses. You can just learn a lot of things that will make you be a better person after this crisis, right? That's the advice I would just give to anyone out there, just be feeling home, like jobless or whatever. Like, just think ahead of the crisis. Just use the advantage you have now. Nobody's rushing. You're just home. You have nothing to do. Do something else. So
you guys are maybe wondering, I'm wearing All in One Africa here. All in One Africa. You can type it on Google. You can find the app on Apple Store or Google Play. Trust me, it's a wonderful app if you're looking for African businesses. And this is the guy who created it, built the website first and now the application since January 2019. It's been a year and a couple of months. What do you get out of All in One Africa? And what do other people, when they go to the website, they go to the application, when they download it and use the application, what can they get that they don't get off of Google?
Okay, that's a good question. So I'll split it to the question in two parts. The first part is, what am I getting out of All in One Africa? I think I said it in the beginning. All in One Africa for me is a community project. Seriously, when you're having community project, you don't always expect to have something financially related out of it, right? That's not the goal. All in One Africa is more of a community project, and I will actually do my best to keep it so, right? It needs to be a community project. So for me, like just having encouragement, having people actually criticizing it, giving me feedback, how we can make it better, like just seeing the use of it, like that's something already, that's really enough for me as the compensation of, the work we are doing, right? Now, talking about the user itself, I just got a lot of feedback, actually. Sometimes you see some feedback that makes you feel like you're actually doing the right thing. You need to be out there and keep doing it, right? just think of you. I don't know how many times someone has just been, sitting home on a Friday night. He's like, I just feel like I just want to go out and just have fun, but I just need Afro fun. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I need to know, like, how many times have that arrived to like happen to someone to just have to do that, like I had someone that actually confessed to me that when he used it, he was like, he was really amazed when he actually noticed that one night he wanted to go out to have fun. He searched Eventbrite, he saw nothing. But just opening my app, he noticed he had like 3 Afro events around him. He was like, that was crazy, right? That's something that's really cool about it, right? We just have a lot of people connected within the African community, the Black community as a whole, right? Out there, that we're actually making sure that every Afro-related, business event, is actually listed on our app. So whatever the case, wherever you are in Canada, even though we're trying to expand it, you for sure find something around you. You just don't know it's there, but just look on the app, you find something around you. So that's the most amazing part, just how you help people just to like look for, like, find what they're looking for. That's the amazing part of it.
And I'm really glad that you were here. We talked about a lot. If you want to keep talking about All-in-One Africa and how it got here, I think you'll have to come back.
Yeah.
Before we leave, I'm going to ask you 5 questions. I'll tell you one word and you say the first thing that comes to your mind, right? And that's
okay.
It. Africa?
Future.
Wow. Okay. The past comes to the future. And then Canada?
Opportunity.
Yeah. Money?
Need. Or necessity, whatever you want.
Yeah. Need. This guy is really Bamileke. And reading.
Exercising.
Oh, good. Wow. Since you say exercising, workout.
Healthy.
I had a video of working out a couple of weeks back. So check out that video. And what he said is true to it. So mention to watch that video and watch this. It completes browse and brain together. So if you can do both, hey, you succeed at what you want to do. So the last question I'm going to ask you, All-in-One Africa?
Africa Google.
Africa Google. All right, man. It is a pleasure to have you here, and definitely you come back. We'll discuss a little bit more about entrepreneurship. Why it's the key to uplift the community. How self-employment is going to get us to the next step. Thank you for having us. Is there anything you'd like to share with the community?
Yeah, I'll first of all say thank you a lot, William, for having invited me on your channel to actually speak about myself, my project, and generally speaking about motivation and how we can actually help others out there. It was a real pleasure to share those with you and whoever will be watching this video. One thing I just want to emphasize before we actually drop off is people should not think successful is a rate, right? People don't have to think, oh, William is having this motivational channel, meaning he's at the top, he's successful. Patrick is a CEO, he's been invited, meaning he's successful. That has nothing to do with success. We are not considering ourselves successful. I think it's more about how bringing people to think the way we're thinking. What we're doing is working, right? We're just sharing it out with people, just to make people's life better. So yeah, it was so inspiring and important for me to be here, and thank you again for doing this. And yeah, I'll be happy to come back if need be to share my experience and just share more other stuff with you guys. And follow William, he's a great guy. Subscribe, I'm doing it for you. Click on the button.
Thank you, guys. I think he's stepping too far ahead. So as you listen to Patrick, like the video, click on the bottom on the bell, subscribe so you don't miss the next notification for the next video, and share the video with anyone who needs motivation strategies to learn how to set up a business, who needs to know more about African Google, and who needs services from Happisoft. So thank you for watching till the end. This was William Kemini and Patrick Happi. See you next time.